Hello, everyone. Today we are pleased to have on a hot seat Carlos Barbosa, a Mexican homeopath who first trained as a medical doctor in Mexico and then went on to learn about infertility treatment in United States of America, and then he became a homeopath. Carlos, welcome to homeopathy.com. It's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Yes. This seems to be a very interesting journey where you first train as a medical doctor, then specialize in infertility, and then go on to become a homeopath. What were your initial thoughts of being a doctor when you first chose medicine as a profession?
Well, I think the main issue when I wanted to study medicine, my main idea is to try to help the people, to help humanity, and the only way that I had it was through medical, to try to be a medical doctor, and I really liked to study. In fact, he gave me some grounds, some bases, very strong bases. But later on, I received a lot of information that the homeopathy could be a possibility. But in my mind, it was quite difficult to accept the homeopathy, because in Mexico is probably like India. India, as far as I know, is the first country in the world when the homeopathy is more spread. The second place in the world is Mexico.
Yes.
And but that time, to study homeopathy, it was almost impossible. I received some proofs from the patients that some remedy helped them, and I didn't believe. I said, no, that is impossible. Homeopathy is garbage. According to the medical model, that the homeopaths are charlatans. And I have a great battle in my mind, because I began to study several authors, scientists, and some of them, in some phrases, they said, homeopathy is a possibility. And it was a really big fighting inside me. And until I said, okay, if the homeopathy works, I will try to really learn it and promote it. And if not, I will spend a lot of time making the worst publicity, just to try to destroy it.
Okay.
Okay. It was like with
You remind me of hearing.
yes, with such a
Yes.
passion. And okay, I entered to the school of homeopathy. It was like a paradigm inside me. And finally I said, no, it's not possible. It's too good to be true, the homeopathy. Okay, finally I decided to discover. I entered to a school of homeopathy for medical doctors in Guadalajara, Mexico. I won't let you to pronounce.
I'm not even trying. I'm not even trying.
Just Mexico.
Yes.
Okay, and I studied 2 years and a half homeopathy, and later on I discovered that the model of studies of homeopathy in Mexico, it almost has the same pattern than everywhere, because I have traveled into different countries teaching. And what's the main problem that I found? I study a lot of materia medica and everything, but we didn't see patients. I didn't see patients. Perhaps in 2 years and a half, the program of the school just was to see 2, 3, 4 patients. I mean, a complete divorce between the practice and the theoretical aspects, which is quite different from the medical school.
Yes.
In the medical schools, we have a very strong standards of study and surgical practice, or the practice in the hospitals, and there is a close relationship between those two activities. And in homeopathy, I just learn concepts at the beginning, and finally, what I discover? No results. Why? Because Uh, just I learned theoretical aspects, but without practice. And later on, I tried to find, because the result was not effective. I went to Argentina, several Latin American countries, trying to learn more and more. And finally, probably a circumstance or casualty, I don't know why, but in some way I have the information here from the academy, and I said, okay, let's go to see George, because I have even a lot of prejudice about him.
Okay.
Like everywhere.
Yes.
In Mexico, the information that we had, that George, he was owner of the island.
Oh,
The boss, a very rich man. But I was anxious just to know him. And I came here just for vacation, not really to study, the first year that I came here. And which was my first impression. Believe me, the first day, the first time when I came, I said, even I had been an inquisitive student. I liked to study. When I really saw him treating patients, I said, oh my God, I am stupid. I really have not basis. In fact, I am sure if I hadn't had this process of training, more probably I wouldn't be practicing homeopathy. Why? Because as a medical doctor, we see results even though they are wrong or right.
yes.
Okay, very practical. You have an appendicitis and you need to
Take it
act
out.
accordingly and take it out, and you see the inflammation, and that's all. The problem is solved when the appendix take out.
Yes.
In homeopathy is totally different. And this problem that I found when I was a student in that school is exactly the same problem. I don't know what's going in India. Probably you will tell me how is the situation there. But exactly the same problem. There is a great divisions, not the standards. Everybody wants to follow his guru, his master, and most of the time forgetting a Hahnemann.
That's very right. And I think that's true for every part of the world.
Yes.
Homeopathy today is divided amongst schools, and most of the schools don't even teach Hahnemann.
Yes.
So that's a sorry state. You were intrigued with homeopathy and the ideas of homeopathy, but was there something in the conventional medicine that you actually did not like, that actually took you away from it?
I don't understand your question.
While you found homeopathy interesting, but you were trained as a surgeon and then in infertility, was there something that you saw or felt in the general medical practice that you did not like and that actually pushed you more towards homeopathy?
Yes. In fact, as I told you before, I was 10 years completely in a fight inside me. Because which is the main problem which I perceive when I was studying medicine, I'm practicing the medicine. The model is divide the person. They see the sickness as if we were broken machines,
Yes.
and they treat just the physical part, and the emotional and mental level they take out. And I was not really satisfied. And the most evident, when I wanted to study homeopathy, one doctor invited me. He's an homeopath, and he was serving patients. And with a friend, we went to his consultation. And he said, you remain silent. You just watch. Okay? And he was looking for a patient, and one patient was with a bronchitis, asthmatic bronchitis. And I said, this is not, he was not trying the made the case that is real. As a doctor, I could distinguish clearly that he was a bronchitis asthmatic. And he was treating the case very, very tranquil. And finally, he prescribed a remedy. And for my surprise, I said, okay, I check it before and after, and the rattling and the crisis diminish. I don't know if he cures or not, but I said, as a medical doctor, I said, something is in these remedies, they have to contain something, because I could prove that in acute case, they act.
Yes.
And that gives me for insight more, I was more angry with more doubts, and I said, okay, the homeopathy could have the possibility to work. It was that kind of situation at several testimonies when I realized, okay, and I said to myself, let's go to study homeopathy.
And after coming here at the academy, how has been your journey with homeopathy?
For me, it has been, how can I tell you, the most incredible experience as a homeopath. Because if I hadn't come to study to the academy, I wouldn't be practicing now. Because I want to be very honest with the people. It's very easy to cheat in the people, to bluff them. And I think the most important is to see the results. Okay? And George Vitulkas, in a very close way, he follows the laws, he follows the teaching of Hahnemann. That's why I came here, and for one more reason. The first time, 10 years ago, when I came to the academy, for me was amazing to see George taking cases, live cases. Very few persons in the world, very few homeopaths do that.
Yes.
Because most of them, they don't have the courage. You need to be very well grounded and to have the courage to prove that the rules exist, that the homeopathy can work, and overall this, that the levels of health can increase. Okay? And for me, it was the most convincing, because for example, in Mexico, all the teachers just give you theoretical aspects, but many times I wanted to go with them to their offices, and they reject us. Do you know why? Because they are afraid.
Yes.
Yes,
That's true.
They didn't want to teach clinic because they are afraid to not to solve a case.
Yes. George says that only those homeopaths should be allowed to teach homeopathy who can actually show live cases. And
Yes.
this is so right. Because people who do not themselves are able to cure patients, they cannot convince others. They cannot convince others. They cannot infuse their students with the right amount of conviction and belief in homeopathy for them to practice homeopathy. And that's so right. From being a student of George, you are now the moderator of the Spanish e-learning group for the International Academy of Classical Homeopathy. And you are also teaching at the academy and also in Mexico and in many countries of Latin America.
Yes.
How has your experience been from being a student to being a practitioner, seeing patients and seeing results in the patients, and then imparting the same knowledge to students?
Well, this is one part very difficult. I take this responsibility very seriously, because when I came here as a student, it's very nice. The environment of the island is quite great.
Yes.
Everything is like a paradise.
Absolutely.
And to be a student is very attractive. But become a teacher is a great responsibility for me because, as you said before, we need to try to be very well grounded because if I don't grasp the concepts, if I don't understand the theory, and I am not able to apply it, all these people that are going to teach, they will be affected, not only them, all the patients who receive the treatment for them. That's, for me, is the most serious situation because the main problem that I cope in different countries when I teach homeopathy with lip cases is, this is quite important. The most important is to try to help them to develop some skills to take the case, even to repertorize, finally to make the analysis of the case and try to reach the proper remedy. But beyond this, I think the most important, it is, of course, to be well grounded is quite good, but there is another human's values that we must to have. If we really have inside the real intention to help the people, to help the patients, it's very important for us, for everybody, to make our own answer and question concerning the homeopathy. My main obligation is to prove if the law of similar is true.
Yes.
If I can prove by myself that that law is true, is real, it can be applicable, and I teach this to the students, nobody can tell me lies.
True.
Because how the people accept different theories and different things which has nothing to do with homeopathy or nothing to do with science.
Yes. There is a saying in English that the proof of the pudding lies in its eating.
Yes.
Yes. So homeopathy, you people only believe homeopathy once they experience the results. And that's, I think, true for every practicing homeopath.
Yes.
You have been teaching in Latin America for many years now. What is the status of homeopathy in different countries of Latin America at present?
And many times the situation is for crying. I want to express this. At the beginning, I see this situation. I have cope different problems, but the situation is more the same. The schools where the people get the preparation for homeopathy, the majority of the teachers, they don't have the good preparation, they don't see patient. Therefore, what's going on with the students? More probably, if they are medical doctors, they go practice the homeopathy. Or, which is the easy way when the people are not well grounded? They go to polypharmacy, to homotoxicology, things which are not really homeopathy, because it contradicts the very basic law. And the situation is very, very similar that we have in Mexico, in Uruguay, in Colombia. It's almost the same pattern. With the difference that in every country they have their specific gurus.
Yes.
Yes. And they pay attention, and this kind of guru create a confusion of all this community. And the other guru, I don't want to say places, yes, but it's the same problem. I could say, perhaps it's too risky to say this, the homeopathy is unknown for the homeopaths.
Very true.
It's a gift that I want to share this experience. You know, it's a consequence to be constant, to study. And I consider myself, and I want to consider until later, until I am old, to be a student. I mean, there is a lot of to learn. But for example, when some cases which are really a blessing, when you understand really what's going on with them, and you at the patient in the intimacy of the consultation, when you have prescribed correctly, and you see miracles, and as a doctor I said, oh my God, all these results go beyond the science.
Yes.
As simple as that. For example, which is the rate of successful in asthmatic condition with allopathy drugs? 0.
Yes.
0. Nothing.
Nothing.
Just to block the secondary effects of the asthmatic reaction. Okay? And when we see cases, we can see simply asthma, and they have cured, they have increased the level of health, they really are cured. For me, I have in my private consultation gas flesh.
Goosebumps.
I mean, yes,
Goosebumps.
because it's so exciting, because I have the medical knowledge, and I said, okay, the science, all the doctors can do this.
Yes.
What can they do? They say nothing. We cannot cure. We can just block the disease. And when see all these results, it is really emotional. I am very passionate about that, and that's why I am devoting my time in a different countries, trying to inspire people to study. But in order to get results, we need to have a methodology. That is the failure of homeopathy.
Yes.
Not the homeopathy, the homeopathic community. Yes, as a medical doctor, we have standards.
Yes.
Even though they are right or wrong, we have precise standards for everything. And in homeopathy, which methodology? Everyone,
It's free to do as he pleases.
you know, and it's a role of the life.
Yes.
If you want the key to enter to your life and really move the state of the person, okay, you must to have the science, you must to have the art, and the good intention as a person, the really good intention. If I am looking for a patient to get money or some strange human interest, the life won't reveal the truth to that homeopath.
Yes. Carlos, I'm sure that with your passion, hard work, and devotion, things will change in Latin America for the better. And with the support of Academy and George, I'm sure this is going to happen sooner than later. Thank you so much for being with us today at
Thank you,
HPD.com,
thank you,
Carlos. It
Manish.
has been a pleasure having with you.
It was a pleasure for me.
Thank you so
you.
much.